Hey, this is Math 7, looking at Unit 6 mid-unit review together today. So again, hopefully you've done this already and you're using this video to kind of check your work and see if you have other questions that might kind of come up if you have something that's not quite right. And just remember, sometimes I make mistakes too, so if mine's not quite accurate, then hey, great job, find an error, and let me know about it. No problem at all. That's part of the fun. So here we go. Number 1, this hanger is in balance. There are two labeled weights of 5 grams and 14 grams. So let's just change this real quick. This should probably say 14 grams instead of 17. Okay, based upon that there. It says the two circles each have the same weight. Okay, so what is the weight of each circle in grams? So because it's balance, balance means that these two parts are going to be equal to each other. So we know here on this side we have an x plus an x plus a 5 is equal to, in our case here, 14. Knowing what we know about combining like terms and simplifying, we can combine that to become 2x plus 5, or you might have just started with 2x's plus 5 equals the side over here, which is 14. If we subtract 5 from both sides, we end up with 2x equals 14 minus 5, and 14 minus 5 is going to be 9. Now, looking at what I have here and looking at the answers there, we can see I got a problem so far, right? If I divide both sides by 2, I end up with x equals 9 over 2, or 4.5, which is not an answer choice there. So, looking at that, let's do this. Okay, let's make this instead, even though it said it was going to be 14, let's make it the 17 and see what we get. So if I redraw this here and say, well, let's pretend it's 17 instead of 14, then what happens? I have 2x plus 5 equals 17, and we would subtract 5 from both sides, so that 2x equals 17 minus 5 is 12. I'll divide both sides by 2, and x equals 6. So that actually is an answer choice. So we're going to go with, probably this is the best answer there. We would go with 6, makes the most sense. So if you use the picture there, you would see it because it had 17 there to start with, right? So depending on what you used, if you use the 14 from the word problem, you would use this way. If you use the 17 from the picture, you would actually go that way. 17 is the most logical choice based on the answer choices. That's why it's good to work them out. And I have no problem showing you both ways because I don't know which thing your teacher changed to make it correct, but it works out the same way. Even if the process is the same for both of them. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 is a great problem. Now number 2, if you're just kind of guessing here, I would recommend that you take number 2 as an opportunity to draw 5 different illustrations here, okay? Now they're giving you one illustration right here, which you have a tape diagram. We see that the combined value of the whole tape diagram is 80. We have 4 sections of W, and we added one more 8 right there. So in essence, if you were to write this as an equation, we would say we have 4W plus an 8 equals 80, because I just combined the 4 W's there, and I add the one extra 8, and the whole thing combined is going to be a value of 80. Now what I want you to do is it says to look at the different situations and decide which one of these situations matches that tape diagram there. So the first one here says Penny buys 4 boxes, each with the same number of chocolates. So let's just draw this real quick here. She buys 4 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. And each one has the same number of chocolates. So I can put C in here for chocolate. Chocolate, 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 chocolate. The Candyman puts an extra chocolate in each box before she leaves. So whatever she had, the Candyman adds an extra one to each box before she leaves. She leaves with a total of 80 chocolates. So looking at this, does that match what we have up there? You would say, nope, it does not. This is a different problem. This is C plus 1, and really this is like taking 4 groups of C plus 1 and setting that equal to 80, which you could solve and figure out how many chocolates she bought for each box, besides of course the one that the guy put in there for extra. So that's the first one. That's what A looks like. For B, it says Leonard babysat 8 times this past month and earned the same amount each time. So we need to get Leonard babysitting 8 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 times. Way to go, Leonard. And then he made the same amount of money. So let's put M for money. Whatever he made the same amount all 8 times. To thank him, the family gave him an extra $4 at the end of the month. So at the end, they gave him an extra $4. Leonard made a total of $80 babysitting. That's our total, 80 there for Leonard. So what can we say? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 M's. So he made 8 times M plus an extra 4 got him to $80 there. Again, is this matching what we've had before? 4 times W plus 8. Nope, we have similar numbers, but it's a little reversed there, right? So not quite the same. So B is not working out for us. Let's look at C. C says, a family of 4 went to a play. All right, family of 4. So we've got 4 people so far. 1, 2, 3, 4 went to a play. They paid $8 for a family-sized bucket of popcorn. Okay. And all of their tickets were the same price. So we have a ticket, and a ticket, and a ticket for each one. And they bought an $8 bucket of popcorn. It says they paid $80 in total. So what do we have? How does that one? That one looks a lot like what we started with, doesn't it? And look back here, we have 4 boxes, adding 8 more for a total of 80. Here we have 4 boxes for the 4 tickets, plus $8 for the popcorn for a total of 80. So C definitely looks like one of our good answer choices, doesn't it? So I would say that's one, but notice it says select all. That probably is indicated there's more than one answer. Let's look at D. D says, I need some more space here. D says, 4 bags of rocks, each contain 4 large rocks and the same number of small pebbles. So we have 4 boxes, bags of rocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that the 4 looks good. And it says they each have 4 large rocks. So 4 large rocks are in each one, and the same number of small pebbles. So plus small pebbles, plus small pebbles. Altogether, they contain 80 stones. Again, this is one where we look at it and say, nope, this is 4 groups of 4 plus S equals 80. And that's not quite what we're looking for there. Oops, slide that down for you. Sorry about that. So nope for that one. And our last one, it says Sheldon is baking 4 cakes. So let's make our 4 cakes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each cake needs the same amount of sugar. Sugar, 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 sugar. Frosting needs 8 extra tablespoons of sugar. So frosting is its own thing. These are the cakes. They each get sugar. And the frosting gets 8 extra. So you use a total of 80 tablespoons of sugar. So again, we have 4 groups of an unknown value and an additional 8 for a total of 80, which matches our tape diagram. So that one also would work as well. That's our E, right? B, C, D, E. So that one looks good as well. So if you got those right, awesome. If you're not sure, it's good to be able to write those tape diagrams out like we just did. So make sure you have the right numbers and you get that solved. I'm not going to circle that, so that way you can make sure that you followed along with the whole thing. Okay. Number 3. At practice, Howard does half as many squats as Raj. So he does half what Raj does. He also does 70 sit-ups. He does 82 exercises in total, right? Total. The equation, 1/2, so 1/2 of something plus 70 more equals 82. Describe the situation. What does the variable x represent? Let's come back here and look and see. The 70, it said, were the sit-ups. That's where the 70 came from. The 82 was the total exercises. Okay. And then we have he did half as many squats as Raj. So the half is there. So what we have here is the x, which leaves us with what? The number of squats that Raj did. Okay, so we can see that as an answer choice there, and hopefully you can see where that answer is there in the work. So half the squats is Raj. The x stands for Raj's number of squats. Okay, number 4 and 5, 4, A and B are very similar. We're solving equations. Okay, so we're going to have to do our basic steps here, right? So the first step is going to be to subtract the constant from both sides here. So that's eliminated. So you have 4x equals 52 minus 32, which is going to be equal to 20. We're going to divide both sides by negative 4. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is 1, so we're left with just x equals 20 divided by negative 4. Well, 20 divided by 4 is 5. A positive divided by negative is a negative, so x equals negative 5. For B, same idea. Couple ways of doing this, right? Remember, there's two ways of doing it. We could first do distributed method if we wanted to. We could say 5 times x minus 14 equals 45. And we could distribute it, or we could divide it first. Either way works. So let's look at both of these options here. Okay, this is an or thing. If I distribute it, I go 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 14, gosh, that's not one I really know too well. So I do 20 and 70 becomes a negative 70 equals 45. Okay, so then I'd have to add 70, so it eliminates that, and 5x equals 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 115. Divide both sides by 5, and x is going to be equal to, 5 goes into 11 2 times, and 5 goes into 15, what's left over, 3 times. So we would say 23. But I could also do it this way. I could also say let's divide both sides by 5 to start off with. And then I have that it becomes 1. X minus 14 equals 45 divided by 5 is 9. I add 14 to both sides, and I get x equals 23. So you can see that by dividing first, the numbers I end up working with are a lot smaller. I don't have to worry about 115 divided by 5 and all that kind of stuff. My biggest computation was 9 plus 14. So they both end up with the same solution, but there are a couple ways of doing those there. So just decide which way you want to approach that problem there. For number 5, it says Stuart tried to solve the equation 1/2 times quantity x plus 10 equals 8, as shown below. Solve it correctly for him. So he made a mistake here, right? We can see that with this first part, he can distribute or multiply by the reciprocal. So he distributes and goes 1/2 times x becomes 2x, and we can see that would be a problem, right? Because a half times x is not going to become 2x, and a half times 10 is definitely not going to become 20, right? That's doubling it. This would work here if this was a 2 on the outside, but it should be a half. So his mistake was he multiplied by 2 instead of a half when he distributed. And again, you could do it the way he's doing it and distribute first of all if you wanted to, or you could decide to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides, and that would eliminate the fraction. Let's do it his way first of all. If I multiply by a half, I end up with 1/2 x plus, right, distribute, what's half of 10? Half of 10 is 5, which equals 8. If we subtract 5 from both sides, we have 1/2 of x equals 8 minus 5, which is 3. Okay, so that's kind of a different little answer there, right? So you have 3, and then I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which is 2 over 1, so that x equals 3 times 2, which is 6. That's one way of solving it. Or I could have solved it this way. We could have done 1/2 times x plus 10 equals 8. We could have multiplied by 2 right away to eliminate this side. So you have x plus 10 equals 16. We subtract 10 from both sides, and x equals 6. So you might have gone about it either way, but you can see how you should have done the work and then what it should have been as a solution there. Okay, let's move to the next one. Alright, so this is a little bit like the second problem we did, but now you need to make your own equation to go with the story. It says a kitchen is making food packages. Each package weighs 54 pounds. So the package weighs 54 pounds. That's like our total for how much the whole package weighs. Each package contains 6 boxes, and each box contains an 8-pound bag of beans and a bag of rice. So what do we have? We have 6 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those are my 6 boxes. And inside of every box is what? 8 pounds of beans and a bag of rice. So we could do 8 pounds of beans plus rice. 8 pounds of beans plus rice. 8 plus rice, 8 plus rice, 8 plus rice, 8 plus rice. Now, in total, the package, which has 6 boxes, weighs 54 pounds. So the whole thing is 54 pounds. So what do we have here? Well, what we have is we have 6 groups of 8 plus 4. So we have 6 groups of 8 plus 4, 8 plus R. 8 plus R equals 54 total. Okay, so now what we need to do is it wants to find a solution. Well, our solution is going to be for R. And what does the R stand for? The R stands for the rice. Now we're talking about a weight. In total, there are 54 pounds. So each of these is going to be 8 pounds plus whatever the rice is going to be. And when you combine them all, it gets you to 54. So let's look at our equation and see if we can solve that here. We'd have 6 times 8 plus R equals 54. I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 6 to eliminate that and to make this a smaller number. So 8 plus R equals 54 divided by 6 is 9. I'll subtract 8 from both sides, leaving me with R equals 9 minus 8 is 1. So R equals 1. What does R stand for? What's the meaning of the solution? That in each box there is 1 pound of rice. The bag of rice is actually equal to 1 pound. And if you think about that, the 1 pound plus the 8 pounds, well, what is 8 plus 1? That's going to be 9 pounds total, right? And how many bags are there all together, or boxes? There are 6 boxes, and those 6 combine to make 54, which is our total. So you want to be able to write down your solution, of course, which we did over here, and then explain the meaning of it in words. Let's look at the next one. Very, very similar here, right? It says a kitchen is making food packages. Each package weighs 54 pounds. So again, this is our what? This is our total. Each package contains 6 identical bags. Okay, so those are 6 bags. And it has rice and 6 pounds of beans. So again, we have 6 bags, right? So you can make your box of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We know the whole package weighs what? 54 pounds. And what is inside of each bag? There's going to be rice and 6 pounds of beans. So you have rice plus 6 in each one of these packages. So I'm going to leave this one just like that because why? This is very similar to where we are here, and we gave you enough information to get started there. So use this to get started to write an equation, find a solution, and the meaning of the solution as well. Next page, number 8. Says, for a school fundraiser, Bernadette make t-shirts. Probably should be made t-shirts. She will make t-shirts. She will order t-shirts and print graphics on them. She must spend $279 on the printing machine. So no matter what, she's buying the printing machine for $279 and $5.20 per shirt, which covers the cost of the blank shirts, ink, and other supplies. Complete the table giving the total cost Bernadette will spend to make each specific number of shirts. Okay, So first of all, if she made 15 shirts, the cost per shirt is $5.20. So we would take 15 and multiply it by $5.20, which in this case here, we do some math here. Get out my calculator. So if we do 15 times $5.20, we can see that's going to be a total of $78 for just the shirts, but she needs to add to that the cost of the machine, $279. So we add $279, and we can see the total cost is going to be $357. Okay? If she did 30, we would do 30 times the cost of a shirt, $520, which equals 156. Notice I'm just doubling that number up because 15 times 2 is doubled up there. But if you didn't see it, that's okay. And I'll do 156, and I got to add to that the cost of the printing machine. Oops. 156 plus 279, and that total is 435. And if we did 45, we would do 45 times 520. Which is $234 plus the cost of the printing machine, $279, for a total of $513. Okay. So the cost of the shirt stays the same, but no matter what she does, we're adding the cost of the printing machine each time. It's always $279. Doesn't matter how many you make. So to write an expression for this, for the cost of making N t-shirts, we can look back here and say, well, the number of t-shirts is, this is the N. So what do we do each time? We did the cost of one t-shirt, $520, times the number, N, which is 15, 30, 15, 45, and then we added to that the cost of the printing machine, $279. So that's our expression. And again, it's an expression because why? It doesn't have an equal sign. If it was an equal sign, we would have an equation. So we can leave it just like that. Part C wants to know what's the maximum number of t-shirts Bernadette could make with a budget of $1,200. So to find that out, we can take our expression and we can set that equal to $1,200. And we can find out then what value of N, what number of shirts would equal that amount there. Okay, so let's subtract 279 from both sides. And we have 5.20 N equals 1,200 minus 279 is 921. And then if I divide both sides by 5.20, what I come up with is that N equals about 177. There's a decimal number, it goes on and on and on. Okay, so what that means is that the most she could buy, or Bernadette can make, is 177. Once you get 178, then that number becomes greater than 1,200, and you can't do that. So that's why we would round it down and chop it off at 177. And so when you do the calculator on that, you have 921. Oops, yep. Divided by 5.2, and you have 177.115, which means the most you could do is 177 without going over your budget. Number 8, which value of N makes the equation below correct? So we want to find a value of N that makes that correct. So we just simply solve it. We can subtract 18 and subtract 18. Here, that's eliminated, so you have 7N equals this. The signs are the same, so you find the sum and keep the sign the same. So it's going to stay negative, and 10 and 18 combine to make 28. So now we're going to divide both sides by 7 to remove the separate the variable from the coefficient. So N is equal to 28 divided by 7 is 4, and a negative divided by a positive is a negative. So that's where we end up with that choice there. And our last one, once again, another great question. It says Amy's mom buys a bundt cake, so she buys cake and a slice of pie for each of the 8 friends at the party. Okay, so how many friends at the party? There are 8 friends. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 friends at the party. Each slice of pie is $4. She spends a total of $56. So in total, this whole thing is going to be $56. So what's the cost of 1 bundt cake? So we know the pie is 4 and we don't know the cake. So basically we know $4 plus the cake price is going to be what happens for each person. So 4 plus C, 4 plus C, 4 plus C, and so on, right? Everybody does $4 for pie plus the cost of the cake for each of the 8 people. So as an equation, we would say that 8 times 4 plus C equals 56. Why 8? Because I'm doing this amount 8 times. 8 times 4 plus C. So we would divide both sides by 8. So 4 plus C equals 56 divided by 8 is 7. We'll subtract 4 from both sides. So C equals 7 minus 4 is 3. What does this mean? This means the cost of 1 bundt cake is $3. And again, think about that. If that's true, 4 plus 3, which is right there, is a total of 7. We have 8 of those, and 7 times 8 is 56. That matches our total, so that would be accurate. Alright, that's it for today for the review. If I have time, I'm going to do one more review, which is a little similar, just to help you out with that one. So another one to kind of just check over and see if you're ready to go. Alright, have a great day. We'll see you next time.